I am here with Richard Keech, the Senior Digital Marketing Manager over at NextCare.com. And he has an amazing traffic case study to share with us where he took Content Scales AI and produced amazing amounts of content, and that built the traffic. So I'd love to get into that story with you, Richard. But first of all, tell us a little bit more about what you do at NextCare, how you jumped into that role, just a little bit of backstory.
My name's Richard Keech. Started in a small digital marketing agency right out of college. Wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. So started in a small agency, normal local plumbers, more service industries, websites, SEO, general things like that. So continued to work in that field and really enjoyed it. So after that internship, after college, was offered to come on full time and took that opportunity. I was able to learn a lot, understanding all aspects of all the types of businesses, what's unique for each service line, from high-end clients to the local plumber, was all just a great experience and knowledge that I was able to take from each one of those interactions. From there, was able to move on to work with the Harlem Globetrotters as their digital marketing manager.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so got to see that kind of live entertainment, different atmosphere, how that really looks at from the digital aspect of not just one stable business, it's multiple things moving around, and it's just really dynamic. So I was able to jump into email marketing, paid advertising, and how that is really unique for that space. From there, they actually moved back to their headquarters in Atlanta, wanted to stay here in the Arizona weather, so just kind of took a different opportunity, was able to join NextCare and saw that there was a lot of possibilities from what they were currently doing from a digital standpoint, and have been there for about 7 years.
Amazing. Well, very cool backstory. I like how it reflects around your journey, centers around the Arizona weather.
Yeah, I'm not much for the cold and snow, so
Oh,
Atlanta was just kind of out, not possible.
yeah, same. I grew up in the Northeast of Pennsylvania. I just can't go back to snow. I love the Arizona, Texas weather too. Yeah. So thanks for sharing that. So I'd love to hear in your journey at NextCare, what was the switch like going from human only writing to introducing content at scale, which you've told me you actually put in your reports. So the people that work with you, the people you report to actually know you're using this. They're a fan of it, which is really cool to see that acceptance of what is a really great AI product. But was there a big switch? Did you have a lot of human writers? Did you make a big switch? Did you not? Was it easy? Tell us about that.
Yeah, when I first came on, we were with an agency that was producing, general health resource and blog articles for us at a cadence of about 1 to 2 per week. A long time. A lot of that process was getting ideas to them, going through what kind of blog topics there were, getting those approved for medical leadership. So it was just a lengthy process, and it wasn't really producing the amount of ROI that we were spending to get these things produced. It wasn't really validating to visits. So when I came on, it was actually a pullback time for us at NextCare. We were trying to understand what was working and what we were spending. So that was an actual one that just got lopped off right away. So at that time, we took that internal writing process into our marketing department, where we were already limited. So we were starting to produce content at a very slow pace. Same challenges that arose. What should we write about? How should we structure it? And then it was the element of, after getting it all written, approved, putting it into digital format that makes it the best for our Google SEO, and to make sure it's created in a specific way to start ranking for some of these keywords. So lengthy process. It always was a aspect that we wanted to improve on, with the realization of AI and everything that was coming down the pipeline, finding content to scale and understanding some of their tools that we used in the past for AI detection and things that we used just internally. Took the jump to start the membership to have content pieces written. We're a little understanding in the beginning of what it would look like from our standpoint, especially from the medical field, where there is medical information that's being provided, and we wanted to make sure that we were producing high quality content that wouldn't cost our medical review team hours and hours of time of changing and updating this content. So we went through that process for the first 2 months and realized that we were able to produce a lot of content and without minimal edits, and have medical leadership approval on those. So right now we've gone through and we're on a cadence of being able to produce multiple pieces of content a week, and starting to see significant traffic start to populate for those writing pieces.
Wow. So it sounds like you took what was a process that wasn't even working, with 1 to 2 pieces of content that didn't even move the needle, and you removed that, and then you added this new process with AI and content at scale. So how much did your velocity jump, in terms of how much content, and how did that affect or impact the results in traffic that you saw?
Yeah, we were always looking at SEM rush and everything seemed pretty flat for about the year or two, and then it was producing content at maybe one piece a month, and then that piece
Mm.
being very brief, not over our 2,000 words
Mm.
that we would expect to have. So not seeing a ton of even improvement or gain of traction within those keywords that we were hoping for those blog posts. So when we were able to start producing quality content per week at 2 to 3 pieces, we just started
Mm.
our average of just ranking start to improve, and now we're just starting to see the fruit of it actually coming to top 3 listings and top 10 listings of actually driving significant traffic for some main keywords that aren't a factor for us at like they're not going to complete somebody to come into an urgent care right away, but we see it as like just an impression based knowledge. So when a user comes
Mm.
back or needs an urgent care visit, we produce high quality content for them before they use our references, and it's just we're more seen as a pillar in the health community to be able to come back in for their urgent care need.
Yes, absolutely. Ranking for keywords with quality content for medical issues concern is like such a great way to build traffic and trust for that, especially NextCare as a brand, because you have a lot of foot traffic that's Googling their issue first. So approaching that, your whole marketing from that perspective and that goal makes so much sense. So could you give an idea, or even if it's a ballpark, of the actual traffic jumps you've seen, like, or associated with keyword search volume? Maybe you went from this many impressions to this many. Any numbers you can share there?
Yeah, that's something that we're looking at right now, and we're trying to build out a dashboard to understand what the actual impact of these health resources
Mm.
blogs are, and then being able to understand, be able to track these users to see if they actually came into a visit or have submitted and came in and booked an online booking.
Mm. Yeah.
So no real traffic for our website. Our overall organic traffic listings, we've seen them almost double within the
Oh,
first seven
wow.
months of starting. So starting in that 4K range, I think we just surpassed about 12,000 active keywords
Oh,
specific for our health resource blog page.
that's amazing. So you doubled organic traffic in 7 months. Wow. How much work do you or your team, you could speak to how many people on your team, if you have writers, how much work do you put into the content at scale content? Or does it come, we have these shirts, I'm wearing one, it says straight out of AI. So the joke is you don't need to do that much editing. But with medical content, I'm sure there's a little bit more finessing. So how much work do you do when it comes to editing the content before it gets out?
So yeah, the big process for us is, finding the keywords and topics that we want to do. So we'll do like a keyword gap research for some of our competitors who have been in the space a lot longer and have or tons of organic rankings. And that was kind of one of the reasons for starting the entire process is what are they doing that we're not, and what kind of content they are
Mm,
producing. And in that discovery is they were producing content, but it was at a very low quality of percentage. It was very brief, not a lot of it wasn't structured in a way that was really being able to capitalize on those keywords. And we thought with a lot of them, it was really just producing a piece of content and getting ranking at their level or even above with the domain authority that we've built up over
mm,
the multiple years that we've had the NextCare brand. So what our process is finding those keywords, producing the content. It comes right directly from the content at scale platform into our dashboard. We're able to just ping our medical review team to kind of let us know if there's any possible issues. That takes 24 to 48 hours. From there, we
mm.
then schedule out all of our blog posts for the upcoming week or month at 2 pieces of content. So we're definitely understanding their limitations and how much time they're taking them. We're definitely looking to scale up the amount of postings we're doing per week to get more on a daily basis of posting.
Wow, that's amazing. So your goal, so if we think about the beginning, you had a content solution where you were struggling to get out 1 to 2 a month. Now you're looking at potentially doing, you said daily content.
That is our goal is daily with the amount of traffic and everything that we've done, just to put more fire on it at a daily metric. And there are
Mm,
just multiple topic avenues and keywords that we could
mm.
start to
Yeah.
generate keyword and research on and create content around it. It's just endless on our side.
Oh, I bet. That's incredible. Yeah, it's just amazing because you have so many locations to map to as well as customer pain points. And so it really is a gold mine for traffic and Google. So that's interesting to hear. You send it to the medical team, they review it, and then it goes out. And that period of time sounds a lot shorter and a lot easier than if it was like, oh, hey, medical team, you have to write this from scratch, where that's like just pulling teeth. And I've been there, ran a writing agency. And if you leave it up to the practitioner to have to write all the content, well, they're too busy doing the thing to write about it. So do you find that that process of, oh, you just need to review the continent scale blog before it goes out, is that something that's been a lot easier for them than what you were doing before?
It was a lot of leaning on them for topics and structure,
Mm,
way how we need to actually talk about this in a
mm,
specific way. When we are able to produce content, and maybe we use one or two variations and give them two options, it's always better just to give them the completed process and let them go through it with a fine-tooth comb to make sure everything is medically sound. But it's definitely an easier process for our medical leadership team, and it's taken a lot off their plate. So
that's amazing. Very cool. So it almost sounds like you're switching up their role in content too. Like they could be the idea generator, help give you topics. And that's a great way to tap into your medical experts versus being on the other end of the content distribution journey.
yeah, and it's always great to have a medical leadership team review exactly what we have, and then what we're currently working on is having like reviewed by a medical professional and create a bio for this user, so our medical
Mm,
leadership team can be the forefront of building up their
yes.
credibility as this is medically approved by our team, or a specific medical leadership team member.
That's amazing. So do you find that there's any on the user experience side of this, do you I'm sure you associate, you just explained you associate authors, bylines, and the medical expert. So there's no need for like, hey, AI generated this. Be aware. You don't even need that because you have a medical professional reviewing it before it goes out. How has the trust and the perception of this content been in the market? Has it been I mean, you're getting traffic growth, obviously. So Google's favoring it. It's matching Eat. Is there anything you can speak to with like how people have actually received it? Maybe let you know like their impressions of it, how they feel reading it. Anything you could speak to there?
Yeah, the only thing we would have from that is the previous content analytics and our recent blog posts. The same amount of activity, same amount of time on site has been almost identical. So there is no jumping off the
Mm,
page early for not understanding or overcomplicating the situation. And even in some places, it's actually grown the amount of time an
wow.
average user on site, just because of length and the amount of actual content that is being produced now. Where
Mm,
we previously would be pretty brief. We are trying to get as much content into as much as a paragraph as you can, but now we're able to expand and produce 2,000, 4,000 word articles with just more information that we can provide.
Hmm, that's amazing. Well, that makes sense that your time on site would actually increase if the content quality is deeper. And it's interesting that adding AI into your process actually made it better. The content produced came out better. But if you think about it, AI has so many data points, our human brains won't ever match that. So it makes sense that it's actually able to create a better draft. So this is great. This is good to hear your process and how the traffic not only grew, but you're seeing your own team benefit in terms of being able to maximize your medical experts, put them in different seats in the content process. And I'd love to have you back when you hit that goal of daily content because that's incredible.
Yeah, and that's something that we're excited
Mm,
about too. That's why we're building out some internal reports to understand what was our basis 8 months ago, 7 months ago when we
mm.
first started, to understand what that difference is, and then what it's going to do and what impact it's going to have when we're just producing more content at a regular pace. So internal
Yes.
analytics that we'll definitely continue to monitor and just continue to grow. So
Amazing. Well, thanks so much for your time and being willing to share and going into the details and the processes. Really appreciate it.
thank you.